Hey everyone, I'm so glad we're diving into this topic today because I've been kind of obsessed with coral reefs for ever. I mean, the colors, the sheer amount of life there, it's like another planet. And what really got me thinking is this awesome source material one of our listeners sent in.
Yeah, reefs are definitely one of those things, like they just grab your attention. And what we're going to be exploring today is this Saltwater Stories podcast episode. Really interesting stuff, plus some extra facts we dug up. It's all about getting to know these rainforests of the sea a little bit better.
Okay, rainforests of the sea. I love that. But here's the thing, right? We're talking about structures you can actually see from space, and they're made by these tiny creatures. That just blows my mind.
It really does. It's funny. We always picture these big, colorful reefs teeming with life, which is true. They are. But what's wild is that it all starts with these super small animals called coral polyps.
Polyps? Wait, hold on. Those don't exactly scream massive underwater structure to me. I mean, I've seen Finding Nemo. It's all, like an underwater city.
That's a great way to put it, actually.
Yeah.
Think of coral polyps, kind of like the Legos of the ocean.
Yeah.
They might be tiny, but these little guys, and they're actually related to jellyfish. Can you believe that?
Yeah.
They build these huge, complex reefs.
Okay, hold up. Time for coral polyp breakdown, because how on earth do these little creatures build something visible from space? That's some serious construction work.
It is, and they're surprisingly good at it. Yeah. So basically, they secrete this thing called calcium carbonate. It's a hard mineral. Think of it as their building material. And get this, over a really long time, all those tiny skeletons, they fuse together. And boom, you've got the base of a coral reef.
Wow, so they're basically making these structures brick by tiny skeleton brick.
Pretty much. And here's the kicker. It's a super slow process. We're talking 1 to 3 centimeters a year, max. So when you see those massive reefs, those have been growing for thousands of years.
Thousands of years. Talk about a long-term project. And it's not just about size, right? These reefs are biodiversity hotspots.
Exactly. That's another amazing thing about coral reefs. They support a crazy amount of life. We're talking 25% of all marine species. And get this, reefs only make up a tiny fraction of the ocean floor.
It's like cramming a whole city onto a tiny island. Our listener sent some awesome facts about this. Fish, mollusks, crustaceans, you name it. Sounds like a happening place.
It is. Imagine a constant buzz of activity.
Yeah.
With all these creatures, big and small, just doing their thing. And the reason reefs are so diverse is that they're like these amazing multi-level habitats. All sorts of nooks and crannies for different species to call home.
So we've got these huge underwater cities built by tiny architects over millennia. But there was also something about algae in the source material. What's their role in all of this?
The algae. This is where it gets really cool. See those coral polyps? They're not just builders, they're like landlords too. They've got this whole symbiotic thing going on with a special type of algae called, get this, zooxanthellae.
Zooxanthellae. Catchy. Okay, symbiotic. So it's mutually beneficial. Everyone wins.
You got it. Think of it like a perfect roommate situation. So the zooxanthellae, they get a nice, safe place to live inside the coral's tissues. Plus, they snag the best sunbathing spots ever for their photosynthesis.
Prime real estate.
Right. And in return for the sweet digs, the zooxanthellae, they make these sugars and oxygen, basically giving the coral the energy it needs to survive.
Okay, so the coral is basically running on algae power. They've got their own little solar panels.
Perfect analogy. And here's the thing, this little partnership is so important. It's actually what gives coral reefs their incredible colors. The zooxanthellae, those colorful pigments we associate with reefs, yeah, that's them.
Wow, so no algae, no color. That's pretty wild. It's really making me see why they're called the rainforests of the sea, just teeming with life and color, just like a rainforest. But speaking of which, there was that one fact #7, I think, about sunlight. Reefs need a lot of it, right? That's why they're always in those shallow areas.
Exactly. Remember how we talked about those zooxanthellae needing sunlight for photosynthesis? Well, that's why most coral reefs are found in these clear, shallow waters, usually no deeper than, say, 70 meters. That way the sunlight can reach them.
So note to self, if you're planning a coral reef diving trip, shallower waters, way better chance of seeing those amazing colors. But about those colors, or the lack of them, should I say. Things aren't looking so vibrant these days.
You're right, and it's a big problem.
Yeah, our listeners sent some stuff about that too, and it sounds pretty serious. Coral bleaching, that was the term they used, and it doesn't exactly sound good.
It's not a good thing, that's for sure. Imagine a city, right? Bustling and full of color, and then suddenly it's all just faded.
Yeah.
Drained. That's kind of what coral bleaching is like. Basically, when corals get stressed out by things like warmer waters or, pollution, they actually end up expelling these zooxanthellae, those colorful algae that live inside them.
So it's like they're literally losing their food source because of what? Like climate change and pollution? That's kind of sad.
Yeah, it's definitely connected to all of that. And without the zooxanthellae, the coral loses its color, its vibrancy, and a big chunk of its food source. They get really vulnerable. And if that stress keeps going, they can actually die.
And I think one of the facts mentioned that over half, like 50% of the world's coral reefs are already gone.
It's a scary statistic. And the really tough part is a lot of it does come back to us. Human activities. We've got to own that.
It's a lot, right? Like, where do you even start? But there was also something in here about coral reefs being important for, like, medicine. I don't know how something so fragile can also hold the key to medical discoveries.
It's pretty amazing, right? So the organisms that make up coral reefs, they have this huge range of chemical compounds. And scientists think a lot of them could have incredible medical uses. We're talking cancer treatments, arthritis, even Alzheimer's. There's this whole pharmacy just sitting there in the ocean.
Wow. Talk about a reason to protect them. Okay, so not just medicine, they're also like natural barriers, right? Protecting the coastlines from storms.
Absolutely vital for that. They're like natural breakwaters, absorbing all that wave energy from storms and protecting the coasts. That's got to be even more important these days with the crazy hurricanes we've been seeing.
No kidding. So what does all of this mean for you listening? Well, we've just gone on a deep dive, exploring the wonder that is coral reefs, these vibrant, essential ecosystems that are, let's face it, in serious trouble. And this is but it's not hopeless. Not at all.
Exactly. Knowing about this stuff, understanding why coral reefs matter, that's the first step to protecting them. We can all do something. Support sustainable seafood, lower our carbon footprint, maybe even volunteer with a conservation group. Every little bit helps.
Maybe what we talked about today sparked your curiosity. I mean, even just learning a little bit more about coral reefs, that's a great first step. Because who knows, maybe one day, thanks to our efforts, these amazing underwater cities will be thriving again, full of life and those incredible colors, for generations to come. That's something worth fighting for.